I cannot wait to see what we have up and running for ourselves.
Yeah, we're going to go straight into this one. Ladies and gentlemen, just note that this is not live. Unfortunately, I've got some audio issues in my head, Dagda. Hearing yourself is, bad enough for regular people as well, but we'll get that sorted. While we do, IG versus LNG. We've already gone through these drafts. This is on a delay because all scheduled matches, or all matches outside of the city of Shanghai, sorry, it's a bit of a test for me, Dagda. They do start at certain times, so we're running a little bit behind, but we'll get through this as quickly as possible. Dagda, fun drafts coming through here as IG and LNG go head-to-head.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see kind of how this one plays out. It looks like we got a Malphite coming in for LNG, going up towards that top side against the Lucian. So, oh, wait, no, never mind. Okay, cool. Look, we're straight into game one anyway. Look, Nenny going to go over towards the Nara. I think we've got at least a decent matchup there from against the Akali. Needs to be so careful, though, because when you've got Ali in this Akali, when he hits that level 6, he has such a big opportunity to go for these all-ins. And you can definitely go for it when the Nara's in that mini Nara form. So Nenny going to need to be careful, but overall, IG definitely going to be looking for a strong mid game off the double AD carries that they're running. Whereas when we look across at LNG, it's actually Icon piloting the Malphite in the mid lane. And we're going to have a big old wombo combo style team fight where they're looking to see if they can set up those resets for Tarzan. Have Light been able to poke out with that Hail of Blades, but already we got an invade.
Three-man stack, starting with a bit of action here as Rookie's going towards the brush. But as he gets spotted out, it's a ward-for-ward trade, which means that LNG have to back away. So you can see already, Light and I1 are just going to walk to lane, and Dagda, the audio issue's been fixed, which is actually awesome. I can hear you again. I can hear myself as well. It is going to be Shun starting on the bot side nevertheless, and I want you to walk me through the comps a little bit, especially on IG side, because we have a double AD carry. We have a lot of range with Equalizer, but I think the Bard in this composition shifts up so much of that balance of power that we often talk about in LPL with usually frontline engaged supports that we see in that bottom lane.
Yeah, and the big thing here is that we've started to see Bard creep in more and more to the meta as an answer to these Enchanter supports. So certainly, like, in these early laning phases, being able to give a little bit more of that sustain, and also being able to have that engaged to, as you said, the Tempered Fate for fights. Now, in this sort of situation, I feel like what we're going to end up seeing is that it's the Bard trying to counteract the Malphite engage, right? When Icon goes for this big unstoppable force, get that Tempered Fate onto the backline, stop the follow-up damage, and try and separate out these fights so you can deal with Icon while the rest of the people are all CC'd by that Tempered Fate. So certainly going to be keeping our eyes out to see if you can get these coming through from Bowland, who's actually starting today. We're not getting Lucas today. It is going to be the old and faithful Bowland coming back here today for IG.
And Bowland's Bard's not something I've talked about in the past. It's not something I really got hyped about. Bowland is that favoured old Nautilus player. We see things like Thresh rarely as well. Leona is something else you think about. So for Bowland, seeing him on the Bard here is a nice little flash to someone like Southwind who has picked that up before. I think importantly as well, going up against Light No One in the bottom lane. A lot of poke there, Dagda. And look at the CS of the bottom lane. As we see a bit of farming, trading, and a bit of burning down from Shun and Tarzan, they'll just disengage. But Dagda, it's 5 CS to 18.
Yeah, and I've actually been, like, really impressed with the way Light and Iwandi haven't played their bot lanes. Like, the fact that they're able to get this lead isn't massively surprising. Like, these guys have been so damn good. Iwandi as well. The thing about Iwandi is, Iwandi used to be a Janna one-trick. This guy had to learn the engage supports, but now that we're seeing these enchanters come back into the meta, he's become back into what made him most comfortable. So the fact that we're getting to see him having these big performances on these enchanters only speaks volumes to, like, the depth of kind of the flexibility we can get from LNG in that bottom side of the map. And I'm excited to see how they can continue to punish Puff and Bowland, who have been taking these really poor trades on that bottom side.
And it's important to note that for LNG, that lane going well is a good sign, considering that up in the top side, things are a little bit even. We know Nah versus Akali. Nah can abuse some of the range until Akali gets 6, until she gets some more of the kill pressure. But I think importantly, the Malphite mid is going to lose out because naturally, Lucian in a lot of these lanes does very well. So Dagda seeing that down there, a great start for Light and Iwandi. I think looking across the map, now we have to talk about jungle interaction here, because I know for our audience, we've run into this one pretty quickly. That's what happens when we change cities in the LPL. I think importantly though, we know that Viego needs a bit of time to get going, but we also know that Rumble, once he gets 6, can really hit the mark and start impacting some of these lanes even better.
Yeah, and well, I mean, level 6 for Icon as well, right? If we're looking at a mid-jungle 2v2, I'm kind of favoring the Viego Malphite, because you just one-shot either Shun or Rookie. You take your pick there, and I think that's where LNG can look to target them, especially if we hit that level 6. And Icon's been insane this split. This is his 12th unique champion that he's played so far. He's been such a big port of call for LNG, but it's Ale who's getting the attention right now.
Baolan moving up as well. This is such a classic Bard play. Ale doesn't have the perfect execution. He's trying to TP back, but Cosmic Binding Flash! Baolan does it. That's beautiful to watch. No TP, no escape, and no worries for first blood Invictus Gaming.
And this is actually something we saw a little bit out of Baolan last split, but Puff on the run here. He's taking a terrible trade in the bottom side. But look, I feel like Baolan to a certain extent has done what I do in solo queue. It's like, look, you know what, my AD carry, we're not going to win this lane. I'm peacing out. I got to go help somewhere else. And does actually get the assist in that top side. Big performance there to actually get that kill. And you get the TP out of Ale. So getting a huge amount of pressure, relief for Nenny in that top lane, who can now reset himself, walk back to lane, and keep his teleport for anything else that happens around the map.
I love it as well for IG. Proc play to the top side. LNG getting dragon bottom is the response. Baolan looking for vision, and I'm not sure if he finds it with the Caretaker's Shrine, but at least Iwandi and Tarzan will be backing away, wanting to influence this mid lane that's starting to roll with Invictus Gaming as well. Dagda, that's a 20 CS lead. Culling was already used, and yes, Icon has his ulti, but as you were talking about mid interactions there before, I love this matchup simply because Lucian can E out of the way. He can outplay the unstoppable force. As we were just looking at how Puff got poked down the bottom lane. He had to use his flash in the end. Means he is in a bit of potency as he walks back in. But Dagda, we always got to remember, coming back to mid, there's always that outplay potential for a rookie who's already doing well on the face.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here is like, okay, well, yes, you've got the flashes that are really key. You've got Puff, who the arcane shift sometimes isn't quite fast enough, so we'll have to see the distance that unstoppable force needs to travel if Puff can try and escape it. But certainly gonna have his work cut out from us. Light and Iwandi now getting a bit of attention from Shun.
Shun's already getting to the point of overheating. He sets himself up with a flame spitter, and Iwandi has to flash away. Nice little gank here, and that's the summoner advantage, plus the heal. That's going to be abusable next gank if Shun gets his equalizer.
It does feel like, though, for Shun right now, he's trying to put out fires, though, right? Yes, he got that good play with Nenny in the top lane with Baolan, but now that he's coming to the bot side, he's got to make sure that he can actually get Puff relevant in this game, because you can see the item difference, right? And even the CS difference. It's unbelievable how far ahead Light's managed to pull away with Iwandi here. Like, we're already 7 minutes into this game, 8 minutes into this game as well. Like, Puff has almost as much gold as Iwandi as the support. Like, that is absolutely insane. So, honestly, I think Shun, we're going to see more attention from him down towards this bottom side, which opens up LNG to go for plays in this top side. Like when you look towards that Rift Herald, and especially with the level 6 for Icon hit, even though he may not always have priority, although he does at the moment, just the ability for him to roam up and threaten with that ultimate oftentimes will force IG back anyway.
That's a great point, right? You know, the relevancy of where this gold is, where, yes, Icon's always going to have that ulti. I like that, you bring that up, because in these fights, he's still going to have the same impact and same base damage that Malphite's known for, whereas Puff as well going to take a bit more time to get rolling in this game, as he's caught up a little bit on the CS, he's pushed in the wave, as it was LNG's bottom lane who roamed up first to help get the Herald. Now he's spotted out on his roam back towards the bottom lane. Herald secured here for LNG, and that is 2 objectives, while the kill went up to IG. So a small gold advantage for Invictus Gaming, but the Herald play for Tarzan is setting him up for this invade, setting him up for the potential of topside, and giving LNG a bit of a speed boost for the rest of this early game.
Yeah, and it's about trying to make sure that they're making those cross-map plays, right? As we said, we can already see Shun is on that bottom side. He's trying to make sure that he's able to try and facilitate bot lane, relieve the pressure that Puff's been under. So it just opens up Tarzan to go for these invades on top side, get that Rift Herald as well. And for people like Baolan as well, this kind of sucks, because you want to be able to roam around, like make plays towards Nenny, make plays towards Rookie, but when you've got a split map situation, it becomes a lot more difficult to try and make those plays.
It really does, and you got this point where Baolan, almost level 6 as well, even more so wants to get proactive. But focusing up towards the top side of the map at this point, because I think it's important to note that Shun's here, Tarzan is as well with the Rift Herald. And I'm kind of waiting for Shun to use that equalizer, get one of these either top or mid. Because remember that Ali doesn't have the flash. He was abused with the teleport play before. So So there is a chance that for LNG's top laner, if he dies, he loses out on a lot. So that's why I want to see if Shun decides to go to that top side, look to give Nani, who has been one of the standouts for Invictus Gaming at the start of this split.
Yeah, Nani has actually looked really good. I mean, his laning phase, he's been a little bit behind, but still, I think giving a lot more stability than we get with the Shy. Like, the Shy can have these really pop-off moments, but you never really know what way the coin is going to land there. Whereas with Nani, he's gotten his 4 solo kills, he's actually looking pretty good when we get to team fights and providing that beefy front line. But I think in this situation, I think I would have liked to see him try and punish the fact that he has that teleport advantage, right? We are kind of talking about the split map situation with Shun on that bottom side. He could have tried to teleport down. You've got the opportunity to go for a dive, especially with Nani when he hits that Mega Gnar. But again, IG not quite putting the pieces together in this early game, and it's starting to, at least they're still keeping even in gold thanks to the advantage that Rookie has in the mid lane. But I'd like to see them try and use more, because team fighting is going to be so difficult for them with this power play.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that one item to see if they can try and abuse the fact. You talk about, pushing tempo, abusing it a little bit more. I guess that's where Shun comes into play as well, right? The Dark Harvest Rumble, who's going to have a lot of burst here with the Hextech Alternator, with the Sork Shoes, is actually heading towards the bottom side of the map. This is also where Tarzan is, Dagda, so you can see Balan Puff already chunked out a little bit. Chains of Corruption actually come through. The Tempered Fate onto Light keeps the play still as Equalizer trains him down. Shun running into melee range, but Tarzan slows him down. Rookie coming in, it's TP play, and that's going to be Icon, remember. Unstoppable Force with Flash is available. But IG disengaged, they know the risk, and with Dragon right in front of them, LNG, that may have just secured the second objective.
Especially with 4 ultimates used by IG in that engagement, and you've got Rift Tower pressure on top side. LNG can force play bot, move over towards Dragon, and you've got Ally whose TP's up as well. So IG burn a lot in that engagement to try and make the play work, but it actually doesn't net them anything, and LNG will come away as the victors.
And give the gold over to Light as well, like, what great plan. 40 CS, 3 bits of turret plating, he already has the Serrated Dirk. That's going to be a Prowler's call because, remember everyone, it is 11.12, so still a very good item here in the LPL. So we're going to have a burst of lethality Varus coming through. Tarzan even in a decent position as well with Divine Sunderer coming up. And Rookie can't stop him for the time being. 2 dragons apiece, Infernal Soul, 12 minutes into the game. Gold now in the lead for LNG, if only by 300.
But one of my favorite LNGs is when Light and Iwandi are ahead. Like when we look back at spring 2021, when we look at them coming into this bit as well, whenever Light and Iwandi get a lead, LNG are so good at rotating them around the map and starting to snowball these turrets out of control. So the fact that they're already putting these resources into Light, getting him nice and ahead, means that we may start to see them put more pressure bot side, especially as we talk about Icon. The impact he can have on these roams is absolutely insane. So you get this Varus ahead, move him around the map, and start to snowball this gold lead before IG can really get a foothold.
And what a dangerous pick to get ahead. You have a Lucian, you have an Ezreal, you have a Bard. Dagda, this comp has one, I guess you call tank, but he's a bruiser. It's the Gnar. So Varus is always going to be relevant in this game. And there's always going to be this looming threat that, okay, if Light stays ahead, we are going to get chunked out before we can approach the fights, as we saw there. The bottom lane got chunked out, IG lost priority, Dragon was given over. So this 3rd, 4th Dragon really raises a serious issue that IG need ways of dealing with Light and getting away from someone like Icon that you mentioned to be able to find the fight that they want, find the objective as well. Objective number 3 or 4 in that Dragon.
I will say though, I know Lyric is kind of breathing a sigh of relief looking at this draft because we have Rookie on a carry. Like, so often we've been seeing him on things like the Galio, where he hasn't actually been able to have that big impact. Hell, even the Rise to a certain extent as well, that damage just being flung into the front line. So I think for the Lucian here, at least gives Rookie a little bit more agency. The problem is just the gaping hole that Puff has in that bottom lane, where he's almost at 900 gold behind his counterpart. He's 400 gold behind pretty much every other lane on the map as well. So you're actually missing out quite a substantial amount of damage in that bot lane. Now, Puff obviously has that little bit of an earlier power spike because he's playing the Ezreal, but with that being delayed, the window for IG to fight is going to be delayed as well, and Divine Sunder will only just be coming online pretty much as this next dragon starts to spawn.
You talk about windows, Dagda, but I mean, this window's not open. This window is a 1-kill game at 14 minutes, and a lot of people will be looking at this thinking, is this my IG? And I'd agree with them and say probably not. Invictus Gaming, once known as the bloodiest team in the LPL, this game doesn't suit them whatsoever, or at least resonate with their original style. Now, I have to hold on that because as Herald starts up, we're going to see if LNG want to contest.
Well, I don't think we're going to get much of a contest with IG holding the river, but yeah, I agree with you. I think, especially when we look at like the solo lane kingdoms that we talked about, right? When we looked at like the damage per minute of IG, they were off the charts, right? Every single time it was those guys who were massively far ahead. They're actually kind of middle in the pack now. They're in around the 10th place spot when you look at the damage over their opponent. So I think certainly we're seeing a very different style of IG, especially with Rookie just not having as much power in that mid lane. Laney coming into the team, a very quiet bot lane in comparison, since honestly Bowland's been subbed out. So honestly, so we're getting a lot less action from Invictus Gaming, and it feels like then when we get to the mid game, we don't have that same kind of clutch factor to a certain extent with IG as well, and it's not quite coming out from it. You can even see from their win rate when they had a lead of 15, they only win 60% of those games. They're not really being very clean and closing out in a lot of the scenarios where they're ahead.
But to be fair, if you talk about clean and closing out, now that's IG. You know, that's IG to a T. Clean and closing out, Dagda. Never ever have we used those words with Invictus Gaming. It doesn't matter if they're ahead. I think this is again to quote Lyric, at least to paraphrase. It doesn't matter if they're ahead 5k gold or they're behind 5, 10k gold. IG will make the exact same play because it's in their bones. You know, IG will make the exact same play because that's what IG does. So, as sad as this game is to be 16 minutes in with only 1 kill, I should wake up our chat a little bit and say, hey, there's going to be a kill coming up soon because we have the 3rd dragon. IG are going to be put in such a bad position if they give this Infernal up. And for LNG, already trying to do the due diligence, they're getting up sideways. They've got mid as well, pushing up towards Puff. You said it yourself. I mean, this early game Ezreal, now he has his 1.5 items. Okay, let's just call it 1 with Divine Thunderer. As well as the rest of people across the IG board. But it's still that burst. It's still the Varus that is such a worry that IG have to walk into.
Yeah, and that's the big one, especially for IG, right? We wanted to highlight at the start, when they're behind coming into these objectives, they're actually not particularly good at being able to contest objectives where they don't have control. Now, LNG haven't really set themselves up in a position to go for this, but their vision control has been very lacking. Now, it's a little bit different. Bowlan obviously coming into the team might mix this up a bit, but they don't have vision on the opposite side of this wall. Like, they have no idea where all of LNG are right now. They have no idea where Icon is specifically, and oftentimes we see them grouping up and getting caught out by these big wombo combo ultimates. So I want to keep my eyes on IG as to how they approach this dragon. Rift Herald goes in mid to get priority, but may not even get the charge.
Okay, there's a setup defensive ultimate coming through from Bowlan. Shun's just caught out. The Rumble in the middle of it just gave away his life onto the backline. Icon slaps down like a hard rock does. Pump flashes out. Nanie's ultimate back towards the turret. LNG losing health bars, but IG losing blood into the backline. Ale flies through like a swift ninja. LNG have taken it away.
LNG, they find that pick onto Shun. They set up the team fight success, and even though Rookie manages to get one back, it's not going to be enough. And LNG now, they set themselves up on that sole point.
Oh man, LNG, things are looking good. Invictus Gaming falling to pieces in this first game. And sure, it's only those 3 kills, but it is sole point. It is LNG holding control in that bottom lane all game long. It is the Akali now who has the Riftmaker and a bounty. Dagda again, we start with light.
Yeah, I mean, look, you get that instant ult coming through from Bowlan to try and deal with the chains of corruptions, but it kind of just leaves Shun as a sitting duck and flash in from Icon to get onto Puff. Puff is out of the spot. He can try and throw a few mystic shots, but not really going to be a factor. So it's all on Rookie to be the carry. And he does get a kill back on towards Icon, but there's just nothing that they can do, especially when Ale is able to dive the back line. And I'm surprised this Akali got through the draft. Akali's so busted at the moment. You just should not let her through the draft. Even in the LPL, she's sitting at nearly a 73% win rate. And that's like, it doesn't matter what team picks her. She kind of just wins.
You know, the funny thing is, like, before you said the win rate, I thought, well, you know, in LPL, like, we really don't have as much priority like the LEC does. It's, you know, either pick or ban. It's looked at very highly. There are some teams that just go past it and say, oh, they won't play Akali, but you're looking at Ale. Ale's in that same tier of top laners like Breathe. I know at the moment it was on I Will Dominate stream. He's saying yesterday that he thinks Breathe is one of the best top laners in the world right now. You know, not just the LPL. I do agree that At the moment, Breathe looks like the best performing top laner in the LPL. You put Xiaohu Nuguri up there, but Nuguri, a little bit inty, Dagda, a little bit inty. Just, you know, speaking about yesterday.
Yesterday could have got better.
A little bit, you know, got solo killed too many times. Culling comes out in the bottom lane. Rookie trying to have influence onto Icon. But returning to my point, Arley's in that same category where he has a wide champion pool. He can flex a lot of these top lane carries. Camille also in there as well, as you know. And giving him something like Akali is alongside a no-no of giving Breathe back in the day something like his Fiora, something like his Camille as well. Even his Lee Sin, I think, is becoming a bit of a no-no as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of picks, and especially like when you look at Ale, he loves to be, as you said, that kind of carry style. He was famous for his Camille back in the day, but yeah, I'd love to see Ale kind of having more of a pop-off time, because it feels like we're starting to see what this guy's capable of, right? He's kind of been hovering around on a lot of the mid to bottom tier teams, but now that he's found a home in LNG, after being subs to out last year from Akuya, it's nice to see Ale coming back in and looking as strong as he is. But I do want to bring us back to the game, because I'm looking at Light's build. I'm surprised by the Serpent Fang.
No mythic.
Like, you've got one shield on Shun, like, and the whole, like, you've only got 77% effective stats coming through on the Serpent Fang. So unless you're getting that value from a bunch of shields, it's not really working out. And there's, oh, hang on.
Oh, Tempered Fate flashes away. Puff was almost caught out. That was half his health from a bit of a combo. You are right about the Serpent's Fang, though. Although I will say, to justify some part of it, Guardian on the Bard, it's still a decent shield. But you're right, you know, it's not as much shielding as we'd see in something like a Karma comp, something like a Lulu comp as well. So still no mythic there, which means no gap close, no Serpent's Fang that has been really successful on this Varus pick. And instead now you're just matching Puff, who does have the mythic, who does have the Divine Sunderers. So that was almost a good pick there from Light, but he has to burn the Summoner. Still very good pick potential for people like Rumble, people like Baolan as well, who on this Bard Dagda so far, I think Baolan's been pretty good. I mean, 100% kill participation in a 5-kill game, not hard, but Baolan's still been good nevertheless.
Yeah, I think the only problem is that, like, if LNG play this right, it becomes very hard to find these picks, because you're going to see... Oh, hang on.
Okay, unless you find the jungler. Yeah, around the corner, but no vision.
But the thing is, for LNG, right, you'll have this 1-4 style of situation as LA just decides to peek his head in, but you want, like, Tarzan, Icon, Light, I wanted to be pushing one lane together, Icon being that big engage tool, and LA using the fact that he's got this big lead, he's already hit his 2 items, to try and play it against IG, and you can already see now, Icon, he's going to TP into mid. They're trying to force the pressure in the mid lane and try and force something on towards this mid tower when you get the resets coming through from IG.
Because you have to look at what it leads up to. 45 seconds and that's the Dragon. That's Soul for LNG approaching 23 minutes. If they get this with the Varus, it's something I already brought up, Dagda. You have an Akali, you have a Varus, a Viego. Where is the hardcore take on IG? It doesn't exist. Comps like this are going to struggle against an Infernal Soul, struggle against the poke, struggle against the burst that LNG will be able to achieve.
And again, look at where IG's vision is, right? They have no idea where Icon is, so they're trying to stay separate, but Icon can go for the engage at any point in time. They need deeper vision to deal with this Malphite. Now, you can see for LNG, they're going to shove in mid, get priority there. Ale has that TP in the top lane, which he's using now to get to the bot side. And going to cause a ruckus in IG, because now you've got to worry about Akali on the back line when you don't have enough vision in your own jungle, and Icon on the front line where you barely have enough vision on his side of this jungle as well.
And he has Flash for the Unstoppable Force. It's just such an easy tool, and he can choose his targets. Rookie, Puff, depends on the Arcane Shift, the Relentless Pursuit as well, to get them out, and if they can outplay. Ale still sitting in this Tribe Rush. Rookie's waiting for him. IG pinging out, they know he's there. But Dragon, LNG are going to start it, but no one really taking the biggest step forward.
Yeah. And having the Infernos, ooh, that was close. The Inferno Rift here means you've got a lot more angles of attack for people like Icon, like Ale, but Icon standing in front line here.
You talked about it, Dagda. I mean, there's defensive vision to spot out Ale. IG zoned away. Again, Icon. 2-man rocks on the back line. Infernal Soul is taken as well. And that just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how it happens. It happens. As LNG going to run forward. They've got so much burst damage. And now they choose their target onto Baolan. Reset City for Tarzan. As now with the Tempered Fang, Cosmic Binding, whatever you want to call it. Tarzan chases up, Rookie as well. Infernal Soul. That hurts so much as LNG wipe him clean.
And now they move in over towards the double
they're
80 carry
about to wipe
cup
him
because
blue.
Tarzan.
He's
Yeah,
over the
right,
wall.
Nenny.
Tarzan's over the wall. He's dead. Okay, now that's a truly clean wipe.
Yeah, and now they can actually either move over towards this Baron, or it looks like they're just going to try and take this mid lane turret instead. But LNG, they got that Infernal Soul as well. And for a team that has Assassins, has Poke Varus, has a Viego, this becomes so difficult for already a struggling IG to deal with. So at this point, it really does feel like it could be lights out coming in for IG, but I want to watch Icon here. I love that he's using the flash to close the gap for the Unstoppable Force, because remember we were talking about you need that reaction time. Well, if he's already in on top of you, it's so difficult to actually react as Rookie, as Puff, and use that mobility that you have. So great engage on towards both carries for IG, and from that point forward he called it reset time for Tarzan, who's running amok in these fights, and Ale as well. We saw earlier that perfect execution right in tandem with the Unstoppable Force from Icon, just shreds the health bars.
Isn't it crazy that Akali buys as much time, if not more, than a Zillion? You know, you think about Chrono Shift, you can talk about movement speed, whatever. Yeah. Even if he has the Zhonya's same as this Akali. But Shroud comes through, Zhonya's comes through as well. You can Shuriken Flip, buy time, gap close. You name it. Akali, the versatile champion of the top lane, does another good thing in that fight. Ale sets himself up, sets the team up, and LNG set up for success in this first game. Dagda, 4K gold lead, but LNG, look at that. Oh, God. That's a Serpent's Fang. Now on light, and he's been having a good game all game long.
Yeah, and now that he's got the Predator's Claw finished as well, he's got that 21 lethality coming off it. We're still on 11-12. It hasn't been nerfed to 18, so still the better option here on the Varus from just a raw damage perspective. But overall, like, it doesn't matter. LNG are so far ahead. I think Rookie maybe tickles the shield of Icon. I don't think he actually gets through it. And you can see LNG have set up that full control in that topside jungle. They're just looking to set up Baron. They're looking to use the poke from the Varus to push IG back and find either towers or that Baron.
And it looks so easy for them. I mean, Light's done it again. Puff obviously healed up of the Divine Sunderer, but here comes Light once more. Misses Balan, if only by a hair's breadth. And Baron's there, but I mean, I guess with this composition, your Baron's not as fast as someone like IG, so they're not going to take any risks. They're not going to give IG ways back into this game. The pressure continues, and side waves are being managed quite well as well.
Yeah, and this is the part where actually LNG tend to slow down. Like, even when they get these big leads, they actually have one of the slower average times. So we're going to see just a little bit of a lull as they slowly start to work their way through IG. It'll be trying to siege down bit by bit with light, see if they can poke away at the turret, pushing IG back. They won't want to, as you said, risk a Baron just straight off bat because they don't have the fastest take. So it's certainly going to be about trying to siege with Varus, poke, maybe kill someone on IG, and then turning back towards the Baron with that advantage.
They're all hypothetical though at this point, right? As Tarzan farming the enemy jungle, Shun comes in, if only for a moment. Balan moving very aggressively up. He has a magical journey, but again, a lot of burst here as that's Shurelius from Iwandi, but Icon doesn't want to take it. He doesn't have his flash up as well, Dagda. That will be there in about 20 seconds, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're kind of rounding up this game because at this point for IG, it's been super passive from them. It has only been Balan who feels like he's been trying to get the setup maybe alongside Shun. And LNG now doing the Baron. We're going to see if IG can look to contest because Dagda, your argument to get a vision, where is it?
Yeah, and as well, Icon's going to have that flash up. This is why LNG are starting this up, because Icon can just come in over the wall. Nene force back, and Icon eyeing up his prey right now.
He is. Who does he want to go for? Because Ale's already taken down Nene. Well, 5v4 onto Rookie. This Akali Rick and Havoc exhausted down and will actually drop as well. Tempered Fate, great from Balan. That buys time as into the backline Icon, Unstoppable Force. Tarzan as well, the Heartbreaker King, rolls on down. And Pup left without any friends. LNG know exactly what to do with him.
And now you've got the double 80 carries that you need to finish off this Baron. Thank you very much, he says. We needed a bit more damage to take down the big purple worm as Tarzan now able to turn back in. He's going to be nice and healthy. And IG, they got baited into that play. We were saying, hey, look, what LNG wanted was to turn as soon as IG moves into that spot. Ale in the perfect spot to start flanking people. Icon had his flash just coming up. And LNG, they get the Baron. They're getting towers. And where is IG? They just don't look like they haven't even looked in this game. Like, you can see it here, right? Look at the position from Ale. Yes, he runs into Nene, forces Nene back thanks to the pressure coming through from this virus. But again, Ale is just in a position to go, right, I can actually force IG back, corral them into uncomfortable positions, threaten that backline dive at all points in time. Like, nearly finishes off Rookie here if it wasn't for the exhaust. And even though I like the idea from Bowland, like, stop the Baron, Icon's in a great spot again. That flash in onto towards Shun. Rookie's already so low. And once Tarzan moves in with the Heartbreaker, it's all done and dusted. Now, we got to go back to live though, because we've got that Elder Dragon up. No flash for Icon this time. Does buy a little bit of space for Rookie and Puff. But it may be too big of a gold lead for IG to try and bring back.
Yeah, two and a half items here for IG, but look at LNG as we, okay, move away the ball. They don't want us to look. It's 3 items, it's 3.5 here. The advantage showing true as LNG, Arley in the back line again. Shun, you don't get to play League of Legends this time around. It's 30 minutes in. It looks like LNG want to put the nail in the coffin. Light is bursting down everyone, and Nene knows this to be true. Over the wall Icon misses the unstoppable force, but he had a gander, and Nene now needs to have a second guess. Away he rolls as well, and LNG 6-0 Dagda for a pretty big reason.
Yeah, I mean, look, they are decimating IG right now, and with that Baron buff, they're going to start working away in these Nexus turrets. You don't have Shun, you don't have Rookie, it's a 3v5.
Last stand here for Invictus Gaming, but will they even be able to stand? Oh no. Alright, final move is going to be on top of Battleland. He's actually not played too bad this game, but LNG have definitely played better. Nene sitting at the fountain, Arley styling, Equalizer trying to burn and does, but Invictus Gaming were absolutely slaughtered by Li Ning.
It didn't even look close. 7-0-7 for the AD carry in the bottom lane for LNG.